Hello, I am Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on May 29, 2015, 11:22 p.m. Birmingham. Topic, Tower of Babel and Nimrod. Just a little bit before I get on there. Nimrod, as we've talked, dwelt in the land of Shinar. This is where the Tower of Babel was built. And Shinar is a very talked about area today of concern for the Middle East. And his kingdom became very great, and Nimrod reigned in the earth over all the sons of Noah, and they were all under his power, his counsel, and because he was the world ruler, the first world ruler at that, and all the earth of one tongue and words of union. But Nimrod did not go in the way of the Lord. And Terah, the son of Nahor, prince of Nimrod's host, was in those days very great in the sight of the king and his subjects. And the king and princes loved him, and they elevated him very high. So he had everybody watching out for him always. This is what communism and socialism does today. You have people that you may not think would turn you in for a simple thing like putting a garden in your backyard. I know this is a big jump, but it's the same type of situation that we're going to enter into. They were afraid back in those days, and everything that somebody would do and that Nimrod may or may not approve of, he found out about it, and he had them to take care of it. And they loved it. They were joyful because of it, because it kept them elevated under Nimrod, who was the king of the world. So when Abram, we're back on him, 10 years old, the king Nimrod and his soothsayers thought, remember, that he was dead. And but taking no chances, we read that, and when Abram came out of the cave, he went to Noah and his son Shem, and he remained with them to learn the instruction of the Lord and his ways. And no man knew where Abram was. And Abram served Noah and his son Shem for a long time. And Abram was in Noah's house 39 years. And Abram knew from the Lord from 3 days old, and he went into the ways of the Lord until the day of his death. And Noah and his son Shem had taught him, and all of the sons of the earth in those days greatly transgressed against the Lord. Everybody was turning against God once again. And, that happened leading up to the 40 years, or the time of captivity, and then 40 years in the desert. But, Abram, again, at 39, when he left, keep in mind, from ages 10 to 49, he was in the house of Noah and learning the truth about God. This would have been from the year 2046 BC, the year Sarah was born, his soon-to-be wife, until the year 2007 BC, during the time the king Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control, and all the earth was one tongue, and all the words of one union. That's in Jasher 9:20. But everything else I told you was in Jasher, I got it down. I wrote it down in my thing just a moment ago. 7:44 through 51, and then 8:33 through 46. But I've got it all written down in the last blog, and I'll write it down in this one as well. So here we are. Noah is beginning to confront Nimrod, and it's going to shock Nimrod to think Well, I thought I killed this guy a long time ago. So when Abram came out of the cave, learned the ways of the Lord, and so at this time Nimrod and his great men took counsel to build a strong tower, and its top reaching heaven. Verse 21, that's of Jasher 9. And while they built it, they imagined in their hearts to war against him. That's the one in heaven. And to ascend into heaven. And the scriptures tell us, and the book of Jasher confirms, once again, it confirms what you've heard. The gigantic tower was destroyed, well, simply by God. There was no other thing or way that could. And keep in mind, in those days, there weren't earthquakes. Not yet. Until now. But says the book of Jasher, and as to the tower which the sons of men built, the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed up 1/3 of the Tower of Babel. And fire also descended from heaven and burned another 1/3 of the tower. And then 1/3 of the tower is left to this day, and it is only a part, no tower standing, no part aloft, and its circumference, the time to get around it was a 3-day walk. That's how big the Tower of Babel was, a 3-day walk. Keep in mind, in comparing the Tower of Babel and Cern Collider, both were machines. Both have the same objective. Both wanted to reach into heaven, except Nimrod wanted to go to heaven and open a door and walk in. We, through the Collider, want to open a door and peer in. There's no difference in the two. Both were machines. Today, the Cern Collider is the world's largest, but by far it falls short of being the world's largest from the days of Nimrod till today. He had the biggest machine there was. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this. This tremendous event would have occurred before Abram left the house of Noah in the year 2007 BC. The Tower of Babel catastrophe, therefore, would have occurred somewhere around the year 2008 BC. It was shortly after this awesome lesson from the heavens that Abram comes forth from hiding in exile and returns to the house of his father Terah. Now, next, Abram confronts Nimrod. Here we go again. Jody Wolf Expoz.